Hello everybody, I'm going to be taking the channel in a new direction. This is going to be the first of a series of videos on individual furniture items. So in this particular episode we're going to be talking about the Switch, its different uses, cost, effectiveness, like basically looking at it in general. So the first thing I'm going to show you here is where you can buy it. I'm in the castle. Let's see on the map. It's showing me as in Taylor Richards, but the castle's over here. I'm inside in here. So I'm going up these stairs here to get to the carpentry shop. It used to be that you could ride your horse through here. Can't do that anymore, I guess. The rules have changed. Okay, so I'm heading up here. Big empty spaces in the castle. This over here on the right hand side is the king's bedroom. I'm going to skip that and I'm going to go ahead. Carpentry shop there. So what I see in here is a bunch of trap furniture, or what I would normally refer to as trap furniture. Today we're going to be looking at this one. This is the Switch. We also have the conveyor belt and the barrier that will be a part of the video. Okay. So actually before I head in there, I wanted to show you guys the price on this. This is 3,500 for lats. Originally it was 2,500. It is a pretty integral, important piece. So if you don't have one and you're looking to get into building, I recommend that you buy at least one of these. I did really well with 2 for a long time. Eventually I broke down and I purchased 4. So these guys are pretty useful. It's only a couple days farming or something if you want to grab it. These ones also, they have, this one's 1,500, I don't know, 1,000. And these guys each are 800. This used to be 500. These guys I think were lowered. I think that they were 1,500 before. Anyways, onward. Okay, so I'm going to go into my guild house where I've got a Switch sitting. Among other things, over on the side there is a farm that I built. So here's the Switch. You can take it from your inventory. It's just called Switch. Oh. The lag is real. SW, go. Okay, so there it is here. This is the item. It's a Switch. It cannot refund this item. It gives you a sell option, but you can't actually refund it. That's what it looks like, and we'll get into what the functionality in here is. So if I click on this one and I click edit, it's going to give me a couple options. One is permissions, and then the other is message on touch. So for permissions, I would usually leave it at everyone for this item, but you can be picky depending on what kind of trap functionality you're building. You could provide somebody a specific location that they can get to in your house. Maybe if you wanted to give them some special codes or password or something like that. Basically, you can use this to prevent them from traveling in or out, or allowing specific people. See, friends and guild is pretty inclusive. I'm going to leave it for everyone, just because there's not really any benefit in changing it up right now. And then the other part is message on touch. Almost every item has message on touch. Basically it's like this. You put a thing, whatever your text is, and when you touch it, it says hi. Or whatever the text is that you put in. If you hit this, it changes color. And this is the main functionality for the Switch. When you hit it, it will change color. Okay, and that doesn't seem like doing much. Doesn't do much on its own. It really does not do anything on its own. You can't even make it push and pull, right? It could just be like a little sign that says hi, or whatever, welcome or something. So I'm going to remove that. apply changes. Every time you make changes, you want to apply changes. And when it says actions updated, then it's referenced. Okay, so seeing this guy here, I'm going to take a conveyor belt. I'm going to bring this conveyor belt up here. And as you can see right now, it does nothing. Right? I can hit it once, I can hit it twice. It doesn't change the conveyor belt at all. But if I click on the conveyor belt and change some options, I get a speed option, which is interesting. We'll save that for another session. But up here, I've got the option to alter the powered color. So I have red, blue, always, never. So first I'm going to go for red, and it stopped. So this this switch is blue color right now, and that means that the red conveyor tile is stopped when it matches. So when this becomes red, then you can see that the conveyor belt also has turned red and started moving at the speed that we had set, which is max speed. Okay, if I change this to blue, it's again going to stop because the switch is still red. I can then turn it on, turn it off, depending on what the color of the barrier is, or sorry, the switch. I keep wanting to call that barrier, but it's because barrier is the next item that we're going to be dealing with here. If it loads, it loaded. Is it going to let me search too? ARR is good enough. We'll get barrier. Okay, so I'll put one barrier down. Again, with the barrier, we have the same kind of color options. So we have always, never, red, and blue. And what that means is, so this is a blue barrier, blue switch. That means that the barrier is going to prevent me from walking through. Okay, so I can't get through there. I can't move into the space where the barrier is occupied when it's the same color as the switch. If I click that down, now I can walk past it. I can walk right over it. It's considered level and flat with the ground. Okay, so this is pretty nifty. You can do a lot of cool stuff with this. For instance, if I put it right in the middle up here, I think I need two. I think I need at least two to block the bridge. So if I do that, I can make it so that the barrier will now block my path. And that's really the functionality of the barrier and this switch together. If I want to, I could also include this guy here, put some kind of a system where it's going to let you go through, or you could also make it so it doesn't let you go through over here. So we'll do two kind of things. One is going to be, let's say when it's going to be red, we're going to do this. And this can be helpful if you're building like a player versus player kind of a house. Like if you got your box wars set up or something like that, there's all kinds of cool options that you can use from the switch, the conveyor belt, and even just the barrier. Okay, so I'm going to keep several of these guys. They are on fastest. So because they're on fastest, it's probably going to make it a little tricky, but that's okay. Okay, so now I've placed 4 conveyor belts here. You can get away with 3, unlike the barrier, which you can get away with 2. Okay, so I've got these guys here are going to block my movement, make it hard for me to run across. See, it takes extra time. This one over here is going to move me towards those, and I can't pass there until I've hit that switch. So with the switch, you can also use thrown objects. So I can throw this bush and change it. I can use bow and arrows on that as well. So if I want to put the arrow in the switch, it also will switch it around, and bombs. So the interesting part here is when Oh, I don't have any bombs. I gotta use a bomb vendor. So the interesting part is when you start getting into designing with the switch in mind and you have a limited number of switches, it can get you into some very interesting situations where you have to kind of think outside the box a little bit. So for instance, if I keep this guy up here, oh, sorry, showing you my profile there. So if I move this over here, I'm going to put this guy right beside it. And buy some bombs. Pricey. Okay. And I can throw a bomb. And it's actually interesting because the bomb, you can do another kind of a technique where you throw it and then after that. Oh. So if I throw this bomb at this switch, it's going to hit the switch the first time. Oh, if I throw the bomb at the switch, failure. So if I throw the bomb at the switch, it will change. And then after a few seconds, when the bomb explodes, oh, it didn't change that time. Sometimes it does if it's not laggy. Okay, so it hit it once. And it exploded, yeah. I guess it could be lag. It could be that I'm wrong. Maybe they've changed the code on it too. Hard to say. Yeah, didn't even explode that time. So I remember seeing it hit twice. It may not do that anymore. If I throw a bomb over here, it will definitely trigger that. Yeah, see. The other one that you can do is switching up for arrows. And this is one of my favorite moves. If you click F and then D, like both at the same time, you can actually shoot a flaming arrow that will explode on contact. And it will also trigger the switch. So you could have some kind of a barrier, people moving around at a very distant location, and then if you can shoot an arrow, that's not going to be enough. But if you know the special technique to shoot the bow and the arrow at the same time, or the bomb and the arrow at the same time, then it will allow you to change that at a distance. There's really one more thing only that I want to show. I will take these guys here and demonstrate. And that is that the switch actually can be moved along these conveyor belts. It's not reliable every single time, but you can get the switch to move along the conveyor belts. No, see, that time it didn't go. Maybe I'll put it on full. Yeah, there it goes. Zoom right across. No problems there. Okay, I'm going to try that one more time just to confirm if it was actually my issue. Okay, so I'll keep this guy here, put it full on. I'm going to hit this. I think it has to be placed though. Yeah, it has to be placed if it's this one. So if it's a colored conveyor belt, it won't work sometimes. It kind of works when it feels like it. If I leave it as always, always will always move the switch. So it'll just continue to move whatever way that the conveyor belts take it. Okay, so I click like that, click like this, put this guy on here, and off it goes. Zoom right across. So you can see there's a couple limitations. There's a few bugs still in the way that this has been implemented. It's a lot better than it used to be. But yeah, that's pretty much the switch. You can use the switch to interact with barriers, interact with the conveyor belts, and from that it really opens up pretty much all of the interactive creative building that you can do. So I definitely recommend it. I'd say buy a switch if you don't have one already. Okay. Thanks, guys. I will see you next time.